Welcome to We Use Our Powers for Good. I'm Dory.
I'm Meg. This is Lulu.
Oh my gosh, this is like we're our theme this series is boundaries and getting your needs met.
Here we are.
I mean, the beauty of an animal, they're getting their needs met. I mean, albeit often quite annoying. She always will let you know what she needs.
Never annoying.
I disagree. I live here. I live here, and she is often annoying to me. So our theme today is the secret signs of self-abandonment, the subtle moments that let you know you're not advocating for yourself, and then what it can look like to do the opposite of that. And what's interesting is like this is literally what I do in my work all the time is support people in slowing down to see all the ways that our body is communicating. But we've been taught in our culture just to like shut all of that down. Well, it's not even that we've been taught to shut it down. We've not been taught to tune in. And culture drives us into a place of desire versus a place of like observation. Um, so what we're gonna do is give some examples of the subtle moments that you thought you were advocating for yourself, but you weren't.
Right.
And what are the cues that you remember?
Yeah. Mine, I think, may now the subtle signs are big
Mm,
because I've learned to listen.
sure.
So whether,
So the signs might be exactly the same. They're
yeah,
just so much more obvious to you
yeah. So like when I think of back in the day, it could have been like a food allergy even
now. What
from
does that mean? What's food allergy?
something your body cannot handle and it gives you negative signs. Um, so for example, we growing up were from the Midwest, meat and potatoes and dairy milk. I think I was always lactose intolerant,
Hey,
always.
or just dairy?
And we always had, each individual had their own gallon milk. I don't know if that was the case for you, but I was the skim milk and I had to drink a gallon of skim milk a week. And so I'm, we
Like
would,
your water.
yeah, yeah. Well, yeah, it was. I mean,
Right.
that's how you got your
This was
calcium.
before water bottles and like
Right.
being hydrated.
So I remember I would go into the fridge and just drink it out of the jug. That
Mm-hmm.
was like,
Well, it was yours.
it was mine. And I would have immediate like stinging pain in my gut. I would wear my belt at school really really tight to cinch off the
Mm.
pain.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
And so I think I was 22. um Someone mentioned it or something. I was eating ice cream, same thing, the razor blades.
Probably me.
Yeah, probably you.
Probably because that's what I do for work.
The ice cream, within 20 minutes it would feel like razor blades going down my intestines.
Ah.
So the subtle signs became louder and then stopped because I went off of all the things. Um, and so then I notice a little bit, like even like a little bit of bloating or a lot of bloating, gas, that sort of stuff, the physical stuff, from and then also anxiety,
Mm. Which I think is huge.
all related.
Yeah. No, but I mean it's a
Right.
huge thing that everyone
Oh,
could
right.
identify with, or a lot
Right.
of people.
Right. So
Yeah.
then the anxiety component of my upbringing, life, yada yada, being, it also was a physical thing.
Sure.
So it would be, my eye would twitch a little bit. I'd get eczema patches. But that also like the food sensitivities, the allergies, it could have,
Mm-hmm.
probably all was one.
Sure.
Inflammation created this. Um,
But you would typically, one way that you knew that your body you weren't getting your needs met is that you would feel anxious.
yeah,
And you didn't label that till you got older.
totally.
Yeah. And then I'm going to say this like clinically, because like I said, I'm a physical therapist and I work a ton with this, is because it's been labeled in our healthcare as this thing, it now is over here as this thing. And I would suggest to you that anxiety or any of the precursors that lead in, like my heart is starting to flutter, I feel unsettled, I'm starting to sweat, I'm getting hot, my tongue is salivating, I'm having blurry vision, I'm feeling lightheaded, I have a headache, I have a stomach ache. These are all precursors to anxiety, and what they're telling you is something about whatever's happening doesn't feel safe, right? But what we've been taught is like, keep moving, keep
Right.
going. And I wouldn't say we're taught to shut down. We're just not taught to observe that,
Or walk through it.
walk through it, right? When in reality, all those first signs, so kind of like if you're going to remember something we've said today, remember this. Remember all of these little things. And if you're like, oh, I have that happen sometime, the next time you have that subtle symptom show up, what is going on or what just happened
Right.
that possibly you didn't feel safe, it was uncomfortable,
Mm-hmm.
and look at the person or the environment or whatever the things are and really reflect on, okay, let me do that differently in the future, or just start to be aware of more.
Yeah, also, it could be your body prepping you for something new. Like it could
It
be,
can be.
it can be a positive experience. It doesn't have to be something you run away from, but
Yeah.
from a place of
That's a
learning.
that's a great point.
You know, like I think of all the things I've been doing in my recent years that used to scare the shit out of me.
Sure.
Public speaking, this other types of work that you traditionally have just scared me, and all the physical symptoms would have pushed me away. I'm
Sure.
like, okay, this used to be the story and I can move through it.
Yep, for sure.
It's okay that my heart is racing right now because that used to be scary and I'm doing something new.
Right. And that's a good
And
point.
I'm safe and I'm grounded. Like that's always the learning that I'm coming back to.
Right. That in that safe groundedness, you still are feeling like this because you're about to do a presentation.
Yeah.
Right. And to be able to label those things super different.
Right.
Right. Right. So that would be a huge, and for me, in my life now, because I'm the male person is coming, I love this for us, and she's like staring at us like, what are you doing? Because we're talking differently than a conversation. um, is in my life now, if I feel down at all or alone, I'm like, oh, I've shut someone out or put up a wall, not a boundary.
Mm-hmm.
I put up a wall, and that's just kind of my reflection to step back and go, okay, wait a second. What do I need? What just happened that the wall went up? Like what thing got triggered, or historical thing that isn't present now,
Mm-hmm.
but something that happened in my life today kind of just brought that old thing up. And then I get my head wrapped around it and just, hey, that's not happening now, and I'm not there. And what do I need? It's like, oh, can I just have a hug? Can I just say where I'm at? So my partner and I do a lot of just like, hey, can you just hear me? Or is there anything you want to share? And we're just sharing stuff to get it out, right? Or just shed light on something that's happened. But typically, what people are going to feel are just these little subtle symptoms that will continue to grow as we bypass or we skirt around, like we're like, hey, I'm just going to keep, so I think about, gosh, when we were young, this was my favorite. Oh, hug this adult that you don't know.
Oh god.
Oh, I'm going to hug that adult whose hand lingered on my low back or the top of my butt, and you're going to make me hug them? Yuck.
Do you remember I used to, whenever we had goodbyes, this just made me think of that. And it would be a big goodbye. Half the people we don't know, I would run upstairs.
Yes. So do you know, like, what the theme at our mom's house, and she had this big staircase. The theme is Meg.
Meg exit stage, right? It was an old Victorian house and it had, separate landings. So it was like
Right.
17 stairs going up and over.
Right.
And then it overlooked and I just, that was like my constant.
Hello.
I always was physically able to remove myself
Right.
in a situation.
Which was smart. Which was smart.
Yeah.
And then in that moment, what I was being taught though was what you are feeling doesn't matter. Right. And then that gets constantly reinforced. And then we get to a point where we're older, but like someone's like, what do you need? I don't know.
Also, what you're feeling is wrong.
Yeah. Like, stop feeling that.
You need to
right?
push through this and do this.
And then God forbid, all of you young people who grew up with social media, you think that everything on some level, it's not, but you think that all of what you see on social media is real when really all of it is fake. And now it's AI generated. Oh dear God. Right?
Yeah.
Right. And we're here to say, hey, your body is talking to you and communicating all the time. Slowing down periodically when you notice some of these things and just starting to take notes. I guess I'm really, the theme is that you need to have a notebook.
Yeah.
You need to have a pen and paper or whatever. But that you're just starting to slow down and just see what some of this stuff is, so that as you get your head wrapped around it, kind of like Meg said, like that thing happened. Oh, she was out to that concert. She's like, I'm out.
Right.
Right. I get in the car, and this was a different episode. We were talking about this, but I get in the car and it's too loud, the music. I just ask to have it turned down because I can feel little things already percolating. Totally. Oh, I'm just going to support you right now and ask.
When I think the more you tune in, the more responsive you get.
Yeah. Right. And I love that word versus, oh, I grew up with, you're so sensitive. It's like, the hell? I can hear. Yeah. That's called being responsive. Right.
Yeah. Right. And I think of where I used to flail around in these infinite levels of, well, I was diagnosed as bipolar at some point. Oh, how many years ago was that?
Right. And not that that's not a real thing. That wasn't
a real thing.
That wasn't what was happening.
That was not.
No, it was, no. Hey, could you just be quiet?
Right.
What you have is a lot.
Right. And now I think of when I don't feel grounded, I immediately feel like my gut is lifted up and I can't take a deep breath.
Yeah.
That's all it is now.
Yeah.
And so if I take a deep breath and think about what, okay, that's the ungrounding feeling. What is it that I need right now?
Yeah.
And
And
that's
like you say, it's often something simple.
always,
I need to go outside. I need a deep breath. Go for
yeah,
a walk, be out in the sun, get a hug,
right. Step away from the
hold a
screen.
cute little puppy dog here.
Always need an animal
Yeah.
within reach.
Here's our little what is that called? A therapy animal or our
Yeah.
yeah, this is Lulu. Okay, so the seed we're planting today is just listening, challenging yourself to go, okay, body, communicate with me, and when you do, I'm going to listen, and I'm just going to start to take notes of what's going on around me.
And will you talk about your resource, your work?
Oh, well, sure. And then if this is something that's interesting to you and you'd like to know more about it, down in the comments just type in there interested. And I'll send you some information. But at a minimum, it starts with slowing down and listening, and then using those cues over time to respond and pivot and change what you're doing. So thanks for joining us today. Please
Like, share, and subscribe.
and we'll see you in the next episode.
Bye.